Hey everyone, my name is Darkfist and welcome to Dragon Ball Z What Ifs. For today we have, what if Cooler had gone to Namek instead of Frieza? Well, the first thing that you have to think about is why would Cooler have gone to Namek? And the only reason that I could ever think of for this is that he'd heard about the Dragon Balls from his brother, through of course Vegeta, and then he would have killed his brother and headed to Namek along with his armoured squad, so that he could get them for himself. The only problem is with this is that the armoured squad was significantly stronger than the Ginyu Force, meaning that both, well, Vegeta, Krillin and Gohan would have easily been dominated by them and would have died. This means that Goku, when he came back 6 days later, would have seen them and would have become Super Saiyan, because of course they were his best friends, his son, and someone that of course could have potentially been a rival and his best friend. Because he was Super Saiyan, this means that he would easily be able to dominate the Cooler squad and move on to Cooler. But you see, the problem is, the battle with the squad that he had may have added maybe a small amount of power, but I doubt it would have been nearly enough to beat Cooler, who was obviously stronger than Frieza, but not too strong. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to take it another route and say that Vegeta would have been the only survivor on Namek. Of course, he became good because he realised there was no other way to beat the squad other than to join Gohan and Krillin. He would have got his power boosted by Guru, as Guru has his unlocked potential. Goku would have saved him after going Super Saiyan, and then would have headed to Guru for himself for the power-up, so that he would have been able to beat Cooler, because he would have known there would have been no other way. Goku would have wrecked Cooler with his new power, and of course that meant that they would have headed home with his new ally, Vegeta. In the Cell and Android saga, Goku would have been extremely stronger because he had his potential unlocked, and of course so would Vegeta, which would be really good. But Krillin and Gohan, on the other hand, would have been significantly weaker. Now, of course, as well, with Goku and Vegeta having beaten Cooler, it would have meant that they would have possibly stopped at Yardrat, because Vegeta, of course, knowing about Namek, may have just I don't know, maybe he knew about Yardrat and just, you know, knew about their amazing training, and then of course that would have meant they would have learnt instant transmission and headed instantaneously to the Earth. Goku would have got his heart virus, well, maybe a little bit later than this, but he would have already been suffering from symptoms from it, as we began to see, maybe not around this time, but a little bit later on. Vegeta would have beaten the androids, and then of course this is in Future Trunks' timeline because of what happened. But I would believe that future Vegeta would have beaten the androids, and of course it would have gone Super Saiyan when King Cold came along, and of course when Cooler came along, or when Cooler came along once again and went to Namek after Big Gete Star. He would have bet, all of them would have bet the androids, but then of course Goku would have died, and Future Trunks would have gone back. Probably, I don't think that there's no chance Future Vegeta would have ever gone back, because, you know, he would have not even realised that Goku dying would have been a problem. But of course they couldn't probably wish him back, because Namek would have been destroyed, and it's a bit messy, but still. Future Trunks would go back and kill Metacooler and King Cold, while with Vegeta, while Goku's heart virus was just starting to kick in. Future Vegeta probably would have been unaware of Cell in his timeline as well, as he would have thought the androids were the only threat that were alive. Cell would have gone back to his main timeline, as it is in the manga and anime, after killing Future Vegeta. And the only problem would be that Future from the main timeline would have been just as strong as Future Vegeta, meaning that when Goku woke up, they would have both taken down Cell, and then of course the Cell saga would end right there, which, you know, kind of cuts it a bit short, I know, but there would have been no Cell saga, no Super Saiyan 2 Team Gohan, but that doesn't even matter. Trunks would of course gone home as well, only to realise that everyone in his timeline were dead. And then of course he would have come back realising that it would only be useful in the main timeline. As for the Saiyaman saga, it just wouldn't have existed, because Future Trunks, Vegeta and Goku would have been around Super Saiyan 2 at the time, but not Super Saiyan 3, as they wouldn't have gotten King Kai's training, or probably even considered it. There's a possibility that maybe Goku and Vegeta would have instant transmission with Trunks along to King Kai's planet. I don't know, maybe King Kai would have suggested it, but I very much doubt it. Then of course Goku, Vegeta and Trunks would have gone to the martial arts tournament, along with Goku's new son Goten, which would have been trained well better than he was when he was trained by adolescent Gohan, meaning that he would have been similar level to Kid Trunks, but I think that Goku would have been of course a lot stronger, so that means that of course he would have been able to train Goten a lot better than Vegeta would have been able to train Future Trunks. Of course, Kibito, Kai, and Supreme Kai would have also been watching, like, as Goku, Vegeta, and Future Trunks absolutely dominate the competition. And then, of course, as for the Majin fighters that Babidi sent, they would have retreated, and the Z fighters would have followed them as they sensed their energy. Piccolo may have also joined in the fight as well, as he would have used Kami probably to try and overpower the new dark energy that Kami would have sensed that would have been Majin Buu. Of course, he would have joined the other three, and then, of course, they would have easily been able to destroy Babidi, the Majin fighters, and Demon King Dabura. They would have then continued to destroy Buu's pod, as of course it would have posed a threat, and Goku, Vegeta, and Future Trunks would then head back to King Kai's planet for training, while Piccolo, Kibito Kai, and Supreme Kai would then, of course, head off to, Piccolo would head back to the Lookout probably, and become the Guardian of the Earth, and Kibito Kai and Supreme Kai would head back to their own planet. Then, of course, time skips to the newest movie, which you probably have already seen, and you're looking forward to see what happens now. Battle of Gods. Beerus would, of course, gone to King Kai's, as he did, along with Whis. He would have seen the three Saiyans that were, of course, incredibly weak compared to him, but, of course, they would have been about the same power because, of course, training that they would have got in that would have eventually covered up for what Goku would have missed out on. They would have been about as strong as Goku and themselves, of course, meaning that they would have been able to keep up for a bit, but I very much doubt they would have been able to get very far. Of course, then Beerus would head to Earth, and it would be Bulma's party. That means everyone except for the Saiyans would be there, and Launch, of course, because he always misses out Launch. But anyway, this means that the only Saiyans at this time that would be on Earth would be Gohan, Goten, and Kid Trunks, and possibly Tarbell if he would have stayed, but of course that's debatable. Kid Trunks and Goten would have been significantly stronger than they were at this time, of course, in Battle of Gods in the original version, because I bet Piccolo would have told them about the hyperbolic time chamber, and Goku would have taught them fusion, as Goten would have only been just a slight bit stronger, meaning that they would have, of course, been able to sustain fusion, and they would have stayed in the hyperbolic time chamber for probably a lot longer than he did, meaning they would have been about the same power as Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta, similar kind of power at least, maybe even stronger. So that means that when fused, the only people that couldn't go Super Saiyan 3 were Gohan and Tarbell, which is kind of a bit of a letdown, but of course they're not really the strongest fighters. Of course, Beerus would still realise that, of course, with Gotenks only being the strongest fighter there, that he would have thought that, of course, that they were, of course, a waste of his time until, well, Goku would have arrived with Vegeta and Trunks, and then they would have wished, using Bulma's Dragon Balls that she would have got, the knowledge of the Super Saiyan God. And then, of course, with the knowledge, they would have used Goku as the main, and then, of course, think it would have a similar kind of effect as the original, but, of course, Goku would be stronger, as he'd be taking energy from the stronger version of the kids, Tarbell, who would, of course, be stronger than Baby Pan, and the two other Super Saiyan 3s. This means that Goku would have been even stronger when he absorbed the power and realised that he could just use Super Saiyan, which was of course more efficient than Super Saiyan 3. Then Goku and Beerus would fight on, and my guess is Beerus would use somewhere between 80 and 90% in his God's Judgment attack, and their fight would end in a similar way, and well, that's really it for Battle of Gods. So looking back, Cooler could have actually made quite a big impact on the Dragon Ball Z sagas and Battle of Gods movie, and in my opinion, it could have even made a better story. This has been my theory on what if Cooler had gone to Namek. Feel free to like if you enjoyed and subscribe to see when my new videos are coming out, and of course, I shall see you in the next episode.